The Omicron variant that's now been detected in nearly 40 countries around the world could become the dominant COVID strain within weeks. Russia, Croatia, Nepal and Argentina all reported their first cases on Monday. U.S. health officials say the variant has spread to at least 16 states. New York says private employers will be asked to mandate COVID vaccines for employees. South Africa, where Omicron was first detected, is preparing hospitals for further admissions as case numbers push the country into a fourth COVID-19 wave. Poland's prime minister says new tighter COVID restrictions will be announced this week. Compulsory jabs for certain professions and vaccine certificates could be among some of the measures being introduced. Poland has seen an increase in infections. Only 54% of people in Poland have been fully vaccinated. People wanting to go to a bar, a restaurant, a cinema in Italy will have to show proof of vaccination or proof of having recently recovered from COVID-19. The so-called Super Green Pass is also now required at sporting events and clubs. The tightening of measures also include fines for those found without a valid pass or a negative test on public transport. 80% of people in Italy have been fully immunized so far, with 15% having received a third dose of the COVID jab. Joining me now from Rome is our correspondent, Giorgia Orlandi. Giorgia, good evening and good to see you. So Italy has already asked every worker to have the basic green pass. What is changing now?
Well, hi, Stefan. Well, despite the fact that over 80% of the population has been fully vaccinated, it seems that the government is still determined to continue to clamp down on the no-vax movement, the no-green pass movement. And despite the fact that the overall number of COVID cases has increased here in Italy, the government says the situation is under control and there's no need to make vaccination compulsory. Now, the new measures which, according to Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi, are needed to preserve what he calls normality, to give certainty to the tourist holiday season, come into effect today and will last until the 15th of January with the option of being extended further into 2022. It seems that the strategy has already paid off. Over 1 million passes have been issued in the past 24 hours. But what is the Super Green Pass about? Well, it's a reinforced version of the already existing Green Pass. Italy's health certificate showing the holder has been fully vaccinated against COVID, has recovered from the disease or has tested negative for COVID. It is normally required to access social, sporting, cultural venues, but the difference now is that the new certificate only applies to those people who've been fully vaccinated or have recovered from the disease. Clearly, the move aims to target those people who have not been vaccinated, who won't be allowed to access a number of social venues, as you mentioned there, theatres, cinemas, and so on. So far, the government believes that this is the best option available and the only alternative to making vaccination compulsory. Stefan?
Well, it's important to note that the resistance to vaccinations will be quite expensive from now on. Tell us about the hefty fines and the public reactions to them.
Well, Stefan, together with the Super Green Pass now, mask wearing has become also compulsory in larger shopping areas. And we know the police are carrying out random Green Pass checks with the first fines that have been imposed today. People who don't comply with the rules risk fines between 400 and 1,000 euros. But also doubts remain as to how to enforce the new rules on public transport. We know that according to the latest decree, not only the Super Green Pass has been introduced, but now passes based on testing will also be required on public transport. So there have been a few local governors say that, for example, in the case of students, as students are not required to show the certificate when they enter schools, well, clearly that poses a problem. But the government does not want to change approach for now. As you can imagine, the latest measures have divided Italians between those who support the measure. They believe that that they don't want to be subjected to the same restrictions as those people who have not been vaccinated. And then you've got those people who have not been vaccinated who think that these restrictions will limit further their freedoms. More protests are likely to take place in the next few days. But as we've seen when the Green Pass was extended to all workplaces, it might also happen that they will fizzle pretty soon in the next few weeks.